Hello and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. My name is Luby, and I realized last time when I looked at the extras menu, I don't know what the library is. Okay. I'm checking out the library just to see what it even is. Also, wait, okay, hold on. So we're on Act 1, right? We're on Act 1? These are the things we've had. And these are like the names of each of the girls. And these ones aren't highlighted. It's not like, oh, here's a scene with Hanako in it. Here's a scene with Lily in it. No, these are scenes from the routes. Oh, I knew it. This game has routes. I have no idea how you reach them, but they're here. And then cinema that just has the. Okay, apparently there's 6 movies. Okay, the jukebox. Then you press on Hanako to return. Alright, let's get into it. There's routes. There is definitely routes. Your choices matter, baby. This is a telltale game. Let's go. Ahem. The students roll into class for the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Muto lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partly be attributed to the 2 empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present, probably due to some council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. Yeah, I made Misha's voice very loud. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she's making it up for Shizune's lack of voice. Nakai, no, that's not. Natai, can I speak to you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Muto appearing in front of my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Muto stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he's trying to say. Not knowing what's going on, I wait silently. So, tell me, how are things? Things? I expected Muto to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, things. You had a week to settle in now, so how are they? Fine, I guess. I see, and how is your condition? The pause before condition seemed a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes across Muto's face. Good, that's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I'd ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education you get at a normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure that you know where those limits are and how to maximize your potential within them. Do you follow me? I guess. I mean, I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Mito taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there's still students out there who realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you've got to keep up with these things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Muto's serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think, in hindsight, that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My relief at that suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Muto pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students has ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back to the classroom. I'm trying to get better at, improvising when I mess up. So, yeah. Instead of him approaching my desk, he appeared right in front of my desk because I said the wrong word. So, hoping I can get better at that through this. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they're working on the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Hell yeah. Thankfully, it would appear that Muto doesn't even notice them. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence and Muto and I left it in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get the last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for those problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issues at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. OMG, Hanako! Whoa! Apart from me, Hanako's the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business, and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either. So, an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. My pencil lead splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako! Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. Oh, so Hanako's not leaving with her. Strange. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her, though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. ... Ah, that's right. I think Lily mentioned something about going to town today before Bryn bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon makes me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving in to one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or on any other day, other than this one. Same, bro. I am a criminal procrastinator. I got work that I'm supposed to be doing right now, but you know what? I'll do it Monday morning. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. No! He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. So, are we gonna go with Lily? Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's gotta be something to do that can kill the time. Go to the library or go for a walk into town? I mean, okay, so I guess library would be go with Hanako, and go for a walk into town would be with Lily. I'm scared now because I know there's choices that can go into different routes. I mean, I was already scared before, but I don't know. Here's hoping this isn't a huge decision that impacts the entire story, right? I mean, I don't know. It's a nice day outside. Sure, let's go into town. Following Hanako to the library seems a bit intrusive. There's a reason she left the classroom after all. And that aside, I do want to catch up with Lily. At the very least, I'd like to thank her for looking out for me despite her other, obviously taxing duties. I guess I'll walk around town. With any luck, I should be able to find Lily. The exercise will do me some good as well. Walking through the school courtyard to the gate, I give a small nod to a couple of passing classmates, the gesture being returned in kind. Even from here, the shouts of the sport club members can be overheard. From the sheer volume of the din, the track must be packed right now. I remember what Lily said yesterday about being dropped right into the middle of a busy time for the school. While I'm trying to get my bearings and catch up on study that I've missed, everyone else is doing normal school activities. The feeling of being a foreigner still hasn't dissipated, at least not yet. Well, I guess not everything's bad. This is a private school, and that much is easily noticed when walking around outside. Not only are the school grounds huge, but the buildings themselves are immaculate and quite divorced from the dime a dozen concrete blocks of public schools. There's also the fact that there's a much stronger feeling of community here, or at least a friendlier atmosphere. In my old school, it was generally accepted that people would keep to their little clique and be done with it. Eventually, I reach the gate and begin to walk down the road and into town. Well, that was fairly productive. Having seen a fair portion of town, even including the houses perched in the hills around the outskirts, I decided to take a walk around the park before heading back. Living in the city all my life, the total lack of smartly dressed businessmen and fashionably dressed girls strikes me as incredibly unusual. All that's to be seen are the odd elderly person shuffling along the sidewalk and assorted busily chatting pairs of middle-aged women outside of small storefronts. Walking along the road to the park quickly distracts me from them, though, making me realize that I perhaps pushed myself further than I should have done to see as much as I could. As my breath begins to wheeze and my chest tightens more and more, I give up on the prospect of soldiering on. Hey bro, don't push yourself to the point of heart attack. Please, I don't want you to die. After a quick glance around the park as I enter, I take a seat on a wobbly old bench that I noticed near a couple of vending machines. For minutes on end, I sit with my head bent over, forcing myself to take deep breaths. I feel more like an old man than a teenager who should be in the prime of his life. The stay in hospital, the surgery, and the medications must be taking their toll on me. Damn it. Eventually, my breathing returns to normal and the muscles in my chest loosen, not without a fair measure of relief. I guess this means the end of my little sojourn, though, in any case. What does sojourn mean? Sojourn? Sojourn? I wonder. There's a cafe on the far corner, so I'll stop by to quench my thirst before heading back. A little bell above the door signals my arrival to an empty counter. For a few moments I stand there waiting, my eyes every now and again drifting from one end of the counter to the other, searching for a service bell. Eventually, a door some ways behind the counter opens, the person emerging from it taking me by complete surprise. It's the girl from the library! Also, sojourn means a temporary stay. I just searched it up in Google. Awesome! I learned a new word today. Today wasn't completely unproductive. Eventually, a door some ways behind the counter opens, the person emerging from it taking me by complete surprise. Yuko? Hi, I had no idea you worked here. I really have no idea how to address her either, given that she's technically school staff as well as, apparently, a waitress. Yes, She quickly paces up to the counter before flinging her upper half downwards in an overacted bow. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? Straight down to business, I see. I don't know. Well, some coffee, please? Yeah, certainly. Make it right away and bring it to you when it's done. Thanks. Yuko's formality takes me back. She seems to take her job very seriously. Obeying her instructions, I turn around and quickly glance around for a free table. Considering the cafe seems to be empty, it's a simple task to accomplish. As I walk towards a table adjacent to the window, I notice a flash of yellow around one of the table dividers. Oh my god, it's Lily and, a guy. That's a new person. I don't know him. I'm nervous. Sure enough, no more than a glance is needed to ascertain that there's a certain Sato at the table. That said, I don't recognize the suited figure across the table from her. Her brother, maybe? Blonde, fair-skinned, and only a little shorter. I think she. Must be a relative. Nah, it's definitely a he. Trust me. I can tell. Maybe. Since the two are all but silent as the suited figure takes a swig from a cup of coffee, I decide to greet Lily. Some part of my coming here was in order to meet her, after all. Hi, Lily. Hisao? Yeah, nice to see you again. The suited girl looks up, noting my uniform with a relaxed smile. Never mind, it's a girl. Okay, new character, new voice. They're wearing a suit, so it has to be somewhat, refined, I guess. I'm guessing they're part of Lily's family, so I gotta make sure it has some of the same voice, kinda. Um, ahem. Uh, what if I just go for something completely different? I don't know, one of them has blue eyes, the other has red. They could be like conflicting personalities. One of them is wearing white, the other is wearing black. You get me? Well, I mean, Lily says a black bow, but ignore that. Know each other? I guess. It's as good an approximation of our relationship as I can think of. Care to take a seat? She says this to the air beside me, but the message is clear enough and I take a seat beside her. I suppose some introductions may be in order. So, this is Akira Sato, my older sister. Wow, so the exact opposite of what I guessed. Little brother. No, it's an older sister. Akira, this is Hisao Nakai, another Yamaku student. Looks like my guess was correct. The newly introduced Akira gives a nod, which I return. What I don't return, however, is the almost analytical gaze with which she looks me over. Hey! As she does so, Yuko walks up to the table and carefully places the coffee on the table before bowing and taking her leave. Gently bringing my hand to the side of the cup, I realize it's already at just the right temperature to drink. After taking a sip, the flavor turns out to be just as good as the temperature. Yuko seems to be a lot better at this than being a librarian. I take a good long drink before relaxing into the seat. It takes mere seconds for Akira's examination to come to an end. Apparently becoming quickly bored of the activity, she turns to her sister. So I basically gave her zero voice last time. Let's, go for something. So, how's school recently? Seems Akira is entirely unconcerned with someone she doesn't know at all listening to everything they say. Not that I mind. Leaving them to the chatting, I sit back and continue drinking the pleasantly aromatic coffee. Sounds like it's pretty busy for you then. At least I'm not cooking your meals after school anymore. As I talk, I slowly realize I am entirely unable to gauge Lily's emotions through her eyes, as I would for any other person. It becomes slightly unsettling as I subconsciously focus on that fact. Whoa, so cold. Weren't you just cooking for yourself anyway? Yeah, I only ever got leftovers. That's not the point. Are you managing to feed yourself at least? I can cook without blowing myself up, you know. Mostly. That's... It's fine, it's fine. I need to learn sometime anyway. Lily? Everyone present is momentarily distracted by Yuko, who places a cup of tea on the table for Lily. Taking a moment to glance at her watch, Akira levers herself off her seat and gives me a quick nod. Well, I better be off. It was nice talking to you, Lily. Akira, do you have to? Lily looks genuinely mournful at her sister suddenly leaving. It does seem like she might have the wrong idea. Sorry, I need to get back to work. They'll be on my neck again if I don't make it back quickly. So informal, Akira's trim and tidy appearance would give anyone the wrong impression of her. Bye, Akira. Come on, don't look so down. I'll be around again soon. See us. With that, she waltzes out of the Shanghai with her hand held high. Lily still looks pretty depressed, so I try to make some small talk in an effort to take her mind off it. She seems nice. We used to live together, but now that I live at school, we hardly ever see each other. Despite Lily having been quite affable, I still don't really know much about her. In hindsight, it's surprising just how much she's extracted from me, really. You used to live together? Was it somewhere around here? It was pretty far south, so the trip to Yamaku was fairly long. With her working hours getting longer and Yamaku being so far away, there was little choice in the end but to move into the dormitories. Well, that explains the chatter about cooking. Evidently, regaining her composure, she livens back up, at least in part. I take it you're better rested now. Sorry? You sound less exhausted than you did when you first came in. To be able to pick on my breathing like that, she must have pretty good ears. Yeah, I ended up walking all over town, despite only planning on taking a short walk down here. Reminded of my thirst from the walk, I lean forward to take a sip. Without further ado, Lily starts on her cup of strong-smelling tea. I guess I better get going back to Yamaku. There's only so long I can stall studying for, and I want to get a good night's sleep for the festival. Standing from my seat, I take the coffee-stained cup from the table. You're leaving? Yeah, you gonna head back as well? It's getting kinda late. For a moment she pauses before lifting her face over her teacup, as if she was looking at me. Yuko, could we have one more coffee, please? Okay, I'll bring it right away. I bring it right away, yeah. Right away, yeah. That's not subtle. She gives a short giggle at my frank assessment of her maneuver. It's surprisingly childish and carefree, given her otherwise collected appearance. In the end, though, I have little reason to refuse. To be honest, I can hardly say no, all things considered. Giving a manufactured sigh, I take a seat opposite her. Wanting company, then? I'd say that's more than I was wondering. I see she's in questioning mode again. She does seem to be unusually interested in me, or at least curious. Do you have any siblings? Not exactly an unexpected tangent. No, only child. To be honest, the idea of having someone that close makes me a bit envious. Interesting. I raise an eyebrow, which of course goes unseen. A short silence communicates the question well enough. It's just that others have said the same thing before. It's a difficult subject to try and think about objectively, given that I've always had someone like that. I can mostly understand what Lily means, given that it would be hard to place oneself outside of a situation they've been in all their life. She and her sister must have a pretty close relationship. Taking pains to interrupt us as little as possible, Yuko dutifully comes over and places a cup on the table. Lily thanks her as I sit back, taking in this vexing girl in front of me. Despite always seeming to be on her guard and in control of herself when talking to others, she has an almost childlike curiosity about other people. That said, those rare moments she seems to slightly lower her guard are the most insightful into how she thinks. Reaching forward for my drink, I realize something I probably should have noticed earlier. I think I'm starting to become kind of curious about her. Aw, cool, so we're both curious about each other. That's cute. Despite making a good pace, it's already nightfall by the time I reach the large iron gates in front of the school. While it's nice to have plenty of time to wander around by virtue of living right next to the school, I can't help but get the feeling that very few students actually take the opportunity. So, did I leave her behind? Did I not, bring her here? Can she walk by herself? Is she fine? I mean, she got to the town by herself. She can get back, sure. Compared to the number of students I see milling around on campus during free time, it's startlingly rare to see anyone around town. Given the large number of accommodations and facilities the school offers, many of them might simply not see any point in venturing outside, let alone people such as Hanako and Kenji. Shout out to these two people who have their lights on. It makes me wonder if students like Shizune, Misha, and Lily are the exception for the school, rather than the norm. As I wander back to my dorm room, I continue to compare my old school with Yamaku. As I do so, I begin to be surprised that I managed to get even this used to everything that's happened to me. Oh, thank God, I don't have to talk to Kenji. Oh, what? That's the end of the day, I guess. Kinda short. Uh, well, I've always ended videos when days end, but you know what? We're only 20 minutes in. I'll go for a little longer. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine, since it's a Sunday and there are no more classes. Not just a Sunday, though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low-quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There'll be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. Again, yawning. It's a curse with this game. I don't know, maybe talking a lot makes me yawn? With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today, out of impulse. Hisao, why would you? Why? Why? I'm curious if he has any plans since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort complete with a no girls allowed sign, and with the girls crossed out and body crudely scrawled underneath it. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clicking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. Jesus, the door opens up a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door.
Oh, it's you. Damn, it's early.
It's not really that early.
What is it, man?
Nothing. Was just gonna ask what you're gonna do today. Half the school is out there already.
Out where? Why?
What?
What? What? Is today special? Why are they there? Who are? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun?
He suddenly looks more alarmed. Let me sip a few bits of water because Kenji's voice needs some effort for my throat. Ah.
What day is it, man?
Please. Yeah, I guess you can't see the big wooden booths outside and people selling stuff.
What the hell are you talking about? I have my curtains closed at all times to thwart the snipers.
It's the festival. You know that, right?
Oh, shit. That's today? Damn it. I can't believe I forgot. I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad. This is gonna be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. This is gonna be a bad day.
Why?
Oh, man, they're gonna be everywhere. The people outside my window, socializing.
Kenji rubs his temples nervously, suddenly looking very ill.
It's gonna be loud as hell. Damn, I was gonna go out today, but now that's ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run.
Kenji seems nervous. You can even say he's majorly freaking out.
I can't believe this. So that's what today was. Damn, and I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself, and now it's here, and I can't do anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier. Imagine what I could have accomplished.
Sorry, but I thought you knew. So I guess you're not gonna do anything today? The weather's good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not though, so there's no reason to just stay inside. Yeah, you should check the festival out. Kenji groans and covers his face with his hands.
Ah! No! I can't do it. They'll leave me alive out there. I know it.
That has to be a joke, but he said it with such a straight face. Relatively straight.
What are you gonna do? You should hang out here. You can help me build my fort. You might still make it if we work together.
I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class project seemed pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to see at least that one and chat with Lily, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligation for the project?
Are you out of your mind? That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow that's in the way of my great vision, as expected of blind people.
What? Besides, I thought you were also... He holds up his hand to interrupt me.
Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen.
Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just the corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same.
I can see the future of mankind. It's a dark one unless the threat of women is stifled. They are everywhere.
So, I guess Kenji really is just legally blind. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster like he's trying to start a fire, then slowly begins to calm down as a panic attack finishes running its course.
I'm gonna have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out of myself so I don't have to experience this horrible day. I had the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival.
Okay.
Later, dude.
The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. I peek into his room and I see that he smacked himself over the head with a baseball bat. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as I tentatively nibble away at the rather bland-tasting item. I guess I shouldn't complain. It's better than nothing and didn't cost much. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as I eat. Oh my god, it's a crowd again. Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents scamper about in the din from event to event, one hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized, colorful snack. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly, something that I'd also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here their whole lives and ardently refused to leave, and those wanting to live out the rest of their days in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. I guess it also goes away to explaining how conservative Yamaku's school culture seems to be. Not that I mind one bit. I kinda like how calm Yamaku and its surroundings are. By the way, all these backgrounds in the game, are these real pictures that are put like a cartoon filter or something? I don't know. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting, now that the hottest part of the day is here. I better get moving if I... Ah! The sound of the Carillion bells take me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few of the people strolling around as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bells end. Its age shows as the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimaces of the younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic, applause and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. I decide to fall back on a tried and trusted role. To go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, it's the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plane into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. In deciding which to visit first, I catch sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red text. Lily's stall is as good a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going, after all, and the work she and her class have been doing for it. Okay, I just got hiccups now. What the hell? Not now. Not while I'm recording. Please. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls, and with equipment for cooking strewn everywhere, it's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. As a student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising everywhere as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who's probably the teacher of 3-2. It doesn't take long to notice Lily among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there's been some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask for the spare change boxes. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter. The teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Hey, Lily, how you doing? Sorry about that. We're having a few problems. What would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I'd come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso soup? Ah, is that a sow? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line, an order got mixed up. Our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover over the problem? It seems like that's what we have to do, though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. I glance behind her to see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over about 8. Yawning again. Very sorry. I take it that's why your teacher left? That's right. She's gonna try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in the line. I guess I better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup? Oh, right. Coming right up. Lily turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually satisfied that I've handed over correct change, she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks, I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Asao. Oh, there is one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done, then. Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako, too. Thank you, Asao. I walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully cradling the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be, perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped considering I was dropped from the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they work, Lily still appears to be somewhat stressed. Right, I know what I'll do. Even if it's just one person, I'll make the festival more enjoyable for her. As I place the bowl on the counter, I call out to Lily. Ah, Hisao, you brought it back? Yeah, here. I slide it into her hands, and she takes it over to someone who's apparently on cleaning duty. Considering that I didn't see them here before, it's probably a penalty for their tardiness. Hey, Lily? She perks up and returns to the counter as she hears my voice again, realizing that I'm still here. Wanna go see some more of the festival? She puffs her cheek disapprovingly. It looks kind of cute, and in complete contradiction to her usually reserved nature. That's a new sprite! Whoa! It takes a few seconds for me to get what she's taking issue with. Whoops. I didn't mean to. Lily giggles at me, exposing her teasing for what it is. You're still not used to the school, are you? She got me. Still, I kind of need to stay with her stall. It's taken until just now to even get everything unpacked. I guess her reluctance shouldn't overly surprise me, considering how much work she's put into this. Everything seems to be running fine now, though. Besides, you got extra help on hand anyway. A boy in the middle of cooking some soba noodles turns towards us, grinning.
Go on, Lils, you've earned yourself a break. We can hold down the fort for now.
If you say it's okay, then I suppose so. But if you need any help,
Then I'll call you. Go on, we'll be fine.
Lily finally gives up her resistance as he waves a spatula at her. She feels her way around the back of the stall and picks up her cane on the way. I guess the first thing we should do is look for Hanako. Lily seems kind of worried about her, and I doubt she'd be the kind of person to enjoy milling about in crowds like this all alone. So I guess we should search for Hanako. Where to first? The both of us go quiet for a moment to think. Maybe she's in her dorm room?
I doubt it. She doesn't keep too many things in there, so she'd have nothing to do. Ah, the library?
As good a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. The library it is. We'll check there first, then. Aside from the muffled sounds of the crowd seeping in from outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all the events are organized to be held outside on school grounds. They're definitely quite large by any other school standards.
It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it?
Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. We take our time and slowly walk through the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. I can't help but notice how Lily anticipates every door and obstacle, her cane remaining still and her hand skating along the hallway railings. You really know the school well, don't you? She smiles and nods straight ahead.
I've been here for a few years now, so I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up, though, sometimes. I haven't been there as long, and they're not as well laid out as the main building. If I'm remembering right, they used to be unused buildings before being renovated and used as dormitories.
That explains why the male and female dorms look different from the outside and why the rooms seem kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. I'd assumed she'd been living in the dormitories since she began attending the school, but now I'm reminding of what she said yesterday. That's right, you mentioned that before. I'd assumed that most of the students here lived in the dormitories once they enrolled. A lot of them seem to, in any case. Lily's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my questioning evidently touching on a delicate point.
Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons.
Something tells me that some of those with reasons is Hanako, hence her tiptoeing around the answer. My own predicament is yet another such case. I guess it's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or, in my instance, have made for them. It can't be helped, I suppose. At least Yamaku itself seems like a nice place.
It's good to hear you say that. I thought you were coming to dislike it.
What about you, though? My reversal of Lily's statement takes her by surprise.
I've been here for a while, so...
It's not that. You just seem pretty depressed about Akira. What's with that look?
Akira's taken. Sorry, Hisao.
Lily never sees how fast my palm meets my face at her sly accusation. Hey, I was worried about you. That's no way to respond to concern.
While she gives an amused grin, we round the corner of the hallway and enter the library. OMG, it's Hanako! Whoa! As we do so, it isn't hard to spot Hanako, considering that the room is completely devoid of anyone else. Given that there's no staff around, I guess there's no need to heed the usual library rules. I call out to her. Hey, Hanako! Hanako is here? As she hears our voices, Hanako's head flicks up from behind a book, probably the same one she'd be reading on Friday. Hisao? Lily? Just thought we'd drop by. Lily just managed to escape from the noodle stall with a little help. That wasn't really an escape. Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us. I just thought that Lily might not be enjoying the festival. Well, we can enjoy it together now, right? The two nod happily before we sit out of the library and towards the activities. I hand over some change to the girl behind the counter and take the 2 styrofoam cups of tea. I try to accentuate my bow a bit to cover for the fact that she's quite obviously deaf. I come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those 2 in the gardens while I bought drinks. Trying to juggle the 2 cups of hot tea for them and a can of coffee for myself outside at a vending machine isn't exactly easy. Oh god, the past 10 seconds were just me messing up my words. You know what? Maybe taking a sip of water will fix that. Oh god! Oh, okay, that sip of water was too big. With some careful maneuvering, though, I managed to keep everything stable and upright as I walk over to the bench where Lily and Hanako are sitting and chatting. It's actually quite a nice place. Lit only by moonlight, it's tucked away some distance from the main events. Compared to how hot it had been during the day, this spot is also pleasantly cool by now. Not that it matters all that much. Most of the visitors have moved to areas that are either closer to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Hisao. Her ears are good. I'm not exactly close, and even Hanako hadn't noticed me. Here you go. Sorry it's instant, but that's all they had left by now. Hanako gingerly takes a cup from my right hand, and I gently place the other into Lily's outstretched hands. Did you enjoy the festival then, Hisao? Yeah, it was pretty fun. An honest answer. Much of the food may have been somewhat subpar, but it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lily. In fact, I think those 2 may have enjoyed themselves even more than I did. With both Lily and me around, much of Hanako's withdrawn nature around others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. Hey, okay, oh my god. Okay, looking at that effect, I thought like Lily had been like shot. I thought somebody shot Lily. No, it's just fireworks. Let's go. As we sit drinking, the whistle of the first firework rings out before it explodes into a vibrant shower of blue against the night sky, heralding the beginning of the end for the festival. Enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowd scattered around the school grounds celebrating them. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watched the fireworks overhead as Lily blissfully listened to them with her eyes shut. Red, green, yellow, star-shaped, circular and patterned, and all manner of shapes and colors fill the air, one after the other, and dance across the sky. No place near where I lived put on such lavish displays. Festivals like this were a thing of the past in such a metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these 2, it's probably the happiest I've been in a long while. So, that's it. The festival's finally ending. Yeah. She gives a delicate, wistful sigh. As much as I might complain about all the stuff we have to do, it's still sad that we'll have graduated before the next Yamaku festival. I walk forward and stand beside Lily, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, we'll still have Tanabata later in the year, right? What is Tanabata? I don't know what that is. It's probably some Japanese thing. Sorry, I'm not super cultured. You're right. It would be nice to go there when it comes. Minutes of silence pass, with only the blast of the fireworks to be heard. Seeing these 2 remind me of those words of advice Lily had given me as we walked into town together. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends, huh? Hey, Lily. She turns her head slightly to show that she's listening, Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the technicolor fireworks bursting overhead. You mind if I join you 2 for tea every now and again? The smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. It would be a pleasure, Hisao. Aw, cute. OMG, Lily movie?
Oh, wait! Oh, wait! I mean, I was thinking about it, but... I was thinking about it. Yep! This is the route we're doing, baby! Welcome to Lily's route, people! This is really cute, by the way. But also, is this kind of spoilers? Okay, no. Maybe not, I don't know. It's visions of the future, baby. Act 2. Past. Alright! Okay! So that's somewhat unexpected. I mean, I'm fine with it. I really like Lily, and these past 2 days in this video have been really nice. So yeah! Welcome to the Lily route, everybody! Anyway, the festival was really cool. I really liked that. And, you know, just really cute interactions overall. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Because I like Lily. She's good. She is very good. You know, I don't, like I said, I wouldn't be, like, sad if I got, like, any of the other girls. Like, seriously, anybody else, I would have been happy. Like, you know, Lily, I'm happy with this. You know, I'm good. I like Lily. She is cute. I like doing her voice. And excited to learn more about her. Yes. So, thank you for watching this episode of Katawa Shoujo. Next time, well, we're going to be doing the Lily route, everybody. I hope to see you then. See ya!